And regulators have filed a complaint against a former state Supreme Court justice who spread election conspiracy theories and was hired by Republicans to lead an investigation into President-elect Donald Trump's loss in the 2020 election. The 10-count complaint filed today accuses former Justice Michael Gableman of violating multiple rules of conduct, which could result in a variety of sanctions, including possibly losing his law license. Gableman has not yet commented on the complaint.